I've just recently put up a couple of blogs about stories that we have running in the background, and stories like wanting people to love you, and then also how we defend our stories when we feel like they're coming close to us and we don't want to feel that feeling. Understanding them or understanding what the feelings are and how they affect you is one part of it. But one of the most important part is how do you get it out of your life so you stop reacting to it. So if somebody says something, you just don't react to it. So I thought I'd better put something up to help you with that. There's lots of different ways you can do this. NLP has ways of doing it. You can use regressions, and you can do all sorts of hypnotherapy. You can do EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, which is about tapping. All of them been proven over the years to have very effective to do this. But I want to introduce you to something that I found and stumbled onto this, an amazing thing. It's called healing codes, and it was created or discovered by Dr. Alex Loyd. These healing codes he found, he had a wife that had chronic depression for about 20 years. It's in his book. I'll give you a link to his book, so if you want to buy it, you can buy the book. And she had depression for about 20 years, and he did all these things to try and work out how he could help her to get her out of the depression. And he came across the set of exercises. He just discovered the set of exercises, and he did them, and he cured her within 6 days after having it for 20 years. So it's remarkable, and there's lots of affirmations, and there's lots of feedback on. If you go onto his website, you'll find all these lists and lists of people that have had amazing things happen with these codes. I've done them myself. I know my wife and I have done them together. They just work. I can't explain the whole details. I have my theories around how they're affecting our endocrine system and sending in messages inside our energetic body, but they just work. So if you have any of these that you'd like to get rid of, I encourage you to try their set. So I want to go through the techniques. There's two parts of the techniques that I'm going to show you today. One is the healing codes itself, and the second part is called Q codes. And they're in addition to the healing codes, and they're a faster way of doing it. The healing codes take about 6 minutes, and the healing codes, the Q codes, are even quicker again. But I'll show you both of them. So to start with the healing codes, first of all, we need to set it up so you understand where the points are, the 4 points that they use. And the first thing is their hand position. All the fingers touch each other like that. Some people do it with their hands apart, but I think it's easier if you've got all your fingers together, and then the energy comes straight out of your fingers into the points. The 4 points are used, which is Yin Tang, or the point between your eyes, your third eye point, your Adam's apple point, the arc of the jaw, where the jaw comes along and there's a bit of a gap where the jaw comes down just there, with the angle of the jaw just there, and above your temples, where your temple area is just above your temples, just there. That's the points. They're the 4 points. And you point these fingers at these different points. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find an emotional charge, something that sparks you up. Then something happens, you feel it comes up. It could be a grief thing, it could be an anger thing, it could be just a feeling you just don't want to feel. And we're going to investigate, we're going to go deep inside of this feeling to disempower it and to reprogram it so you don't keep reacting to this. And so the first thing we do is we'll think of one, and I'll use one of my old ones that I used to have, was feeling disrespected. And I don't get this feeling anymore, but because I've done this particular process with it, it just works so well. But I just go back to the time I can remember when it happens, when I was a little boy, and it was the first time I felt this feeling quite a few times, been played out in my life a few times, because I had the story running in the background. And while I had it running in the background, of course, things keep happening in my life to keep triggering the same feeling. So what I want to do is disempower all of that, so I have to go back to the earliest possible time when it happened. And I can remember I was a little kid at the time when it happened, and somebody did something to me and I felt disrespected. And this disrespected feeling was really strong inside my body, and I felt it coming through my body. So the easiest thing is you think of that time, think of how that felt, and then let your body feel the feeling that comes with that. And I'm sitting there feeling the feeling, and it's not comfortable. Some of these feelings aren't comfortable. It could be a grief thing that's not going to be comfortable. Just let it feel. Let it feel come on through. It could be rage. Let it come in your body, and then let it get bigger. Let it grow bigger and bigger of what it felt like to be disrespected, that nobody loves me, nobody wants to be there for me, you can't trust anybody, and just feel what it feels like, the loneliness that came with that, and just feel the whole body starts feeling this energy vibration of that. And then give it a grade from about 1 to 10. Yeah, in my case it's about an 8, well, it was about an 8. And then I try and grow it bigger, so I go back in there, really sink into it, so I can get up to about a 9 if I can. Good, and now I can feel that feeling. Good. Now I say a prayer to myself about how I want to feel, how I'd rather feel in this situation, empowered in this situation than feeling this disempowerment. How would I feel if I really was powerful in the situation? And I make a prayer that I feel that. And I say that to myself so I can feel what it feels like not to be disempowered or not feel disrespected, but to feel strong in that place. I say that prayer. Good. Then I do the healing codes and bring the fingers together, and we do the third eye first. Then we do the Adam's apple. Now we do this for 30 seconds each. I'm not going to do the whole 30 seconds, it'll take too long, but know for each of these points you do 30 seconds. Then the jaw, then the temple, good. And then you rest your hands. Rest your hands and come back up again and go back to the third eye. Go back to your throat, your Adam's apple, for 30 seconds each time. The jaw, your temples, and then rest your shoulders again. And then do it again. And you do it 3 times, the rotation 3 times. So it's in total 6 minutes. It only takes 6 minutes to do this. And then bring your hands back to your heart once you've finished. And feel a good thought. Feel good thoughts of being happy thoughts. Now while you're doing the healing codes and you've got your fingers on the points, don't think of the negative part of that. Think of something happy thoughts. Think of something that makes you feel happy. I like riding motorcycles, so I just think of riding a bike. It always works. And I'll think of something that makes me happy. I'll think of something that makes me happy. For the 30 seconds we're doing this, so think of joyful things. If something comes into your mind that brings that feeling, the negative, just let it go and bring back to happy thoughts as you do these points. Remember that for the whole time, and then finish, come back to your heart, and just sit in your heart and think happy thoughts. Good. Now I'm going to cast my mind back. For the next part, I cast my mind back to the situation when I was a little boy, and I say to it, right, what's the charge like now? And I look at that, I go, what, from 1 till 10? What's the charge like now? I go, well, it was an 8 before, now it's only a 6. I was like, oh, that's great. So I haven't got as big a charge. I'm not getting so emotional. I try to grow the emotion to make stronger. Think of the situation, try and make it, the feeling stronger inside my body. Oh, it goes up to about a 7. Good. So then I do the codes again. To have a prayer how I want to be in that situation, not how I was, how I'd like to be empowered. Yeah. Then I think happy thoughts again, back on my bike again, and I do these points. And I do them all again, and I do all 4 points for 30 seconds each, 3 rounds. So it's a total of 6 minutes. Yeah. And then I come back to the heart. Think happy thoughts inside my heart again. Then I go back to the situation again and have a look as well. It's only a 4 now. So the idea is that just to go right back to a 0. Now, if it's a big emotional issue, if there's a marriage breakup or something that's really, or a death in the family or something that's happened that's really big, then you might find that you're not going to get this in one sitting. You might take a couple of days to do this. Yeah? Okay. So you get back to a 0 was what you want. And you're sitting there and you go, oh, and you look at the situation, you go, oh, I have no charge. I'm okay. I know that I was okay then. So then what you want to do then is go back and think of anything else in your life where you felt that feeling. There might be another one. There might be one before this one. And you might find it comes up when you're doing the codes. You can remember one prior because you want the earliest one. Because when you do the earliest one, it cascades all the way through the other ones through your life. But find the earliest one. And if there isn't one, then you'll find you won't react to that anymore. It's that simple. But what we want to do now is we want to reprogram that situation and into a positive way. So we think of that situation, think of you being empowered in that situation where you weren't disrespected, you felt strong, you didn't care what other people thought about you, you were there helping other people and you were in a really good space, and you think of what that feels like, the emotion of being powerful, empowered in who you are and not caring what people like you or not, just being yourself or who you really are. And then bring that inside your body and feel that feeling of the empowerment of that. And with that feeling inside you, then you do the healing code. So you're going to reprogram your mind to think differently. You're going to feel the positive of that. And go back and do the points, your third eye, your throat, and do a complete rotation of the 4 points 3 times for 6 minutes again. And then you reprint it and reprogram that. So you'll find, if you go back to that situation, look at that, go, oh, that's nothing. I was actually a really good kid and I was just doing the best I could. And I'm actually really, really positive, I'm a confident kid. And the rest of the charge has all gone away. It's actually that simple, and I wanted you to try this, and please do this. Now you can do these codes if you have an illness, if you have something going on with your tummy or you get constant headaches or something. You can actually use the healing codes to change the way your body is feeling. you'll read in the handout that I've written associated with the healing codes about how the actual energy of this particular thing works inside your body, how it actually changes you. So have a read of it. It's important that you understand what's actually happening in your body by putting your fingers on these points, and how it's actually changing the energy of your body, inside your body, and how it can alleviate illnesses. This is illnesses that have been handed down. It could be a generation thing that comes through your life, comes from your parents to you, and you get handed it. And then you already have this predisposition to this right from the start, and you'll have things happen in your life that keep triggering the same response, but you can break it. And if you break it, they believe, and I totally believe this, that if you can break the pattern of this past interference, that there's a sickness and a stress that comes with it. Because if you have emotional charge in something, the emotional charge produces stress inside your body, a certain kind of stress. And the stress produces hormones or enzymes in the body that can actually release sickness or disease hormones inside the body can actually make you sick from the stress. And there's a belief that if you get rid of the stress, which gets rid of the story that's causing the stress, that illness will go out of your body because now you're not creating it by the story. So this is a big one. So I want you to learn this one. It's very powerful, and it's made a huge difference in my life and people around me that I've used it on. What I'll do next time is, next week I'll put another one up, and I'll do the Q codes next time, which is an addition to the healing codes, but it's a lot faster. You only do each of the points for 1 second each, and there's something else you do, and I'll show you next week, that can amplify and make it even stronger. But have a try of these ones first, run them through, try them. Email if you have any questions, you're not quite sure, please email me. They are fantastic. So do try them. And find a friend and they can help you through them, because it is easier to do with somebody else than do them by yourself, but you can do them by yourself. Practice it, let me know, feed me back about how you enjoy it and how it makes a difference, and then go back and think of what you were feeling and notice it has actually changed it. Cheers, bye-bye.